But okay, so there are empty chairs in the front. If those who are there could please fill in. Okay, Rafael, thank you for volunteering to pray for us today. You may do so in English or Spanish. Could you please stand over here? Let's see your prayerful hands, everybody. Remember, we have one. Rami's coming. Remember, our prayer hands is thumbs right over left, and that it should be at the heart level and 45 degrees down or up, doesn't matter. There is no 90 degrees, and it really looks funny if you're like 180. I have no idea how some servers could be this way. I've seen it done, and it's not in this country, but it's just like 45 degrees.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord, for gathering us here so we can be better leaders to our servers, and so we can inspire other people and help others feel the glory during the Mass. And hope that everybody has a good time.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much, Rafael, and thank you all again for coming to the second day of our training for MLs. We have new faces and we have old faces. I'm so happy that it shows how much importance and value you give to this position as a Mass leader by your presence, and so I want to thank you again. We covered a lot yesterday, and that's for sure. Yeah, I kind of gave you more or less 5 or 6 changes, and I know and I have confidence that you will make sure that that happens the week following our week-long training with the rest of the servers, correct? I think that will give you an opportunity to exercise your role as Mass leaders. Because if there's nothing new, then there isn't an opportunity for you to teach. Do you see what I'm talking about? So this is going, when I visit your Mass and I see the changes, I say, well and good, congratulations. Okay? One of the issues that was brought up to me, which I'm glad you brought up, was we have in our presence several individuals who are of the same Mass. And the question was, if I'm the Mass leader and then the other one is a Mass leader, who is the Mass leader? You know, as a community, as brothers and sisters, it's not about the title, but it's about the responsibilities of a Mass leader that have to be fulfilled. So I'm not worried about who is the Mass leader. I am worried about if things will get done if you are the Mass leader. So today, we're going to go over particular things which you have to take care of. And so, before I start, I give the floor to Miss Luz. I wanted to ask you if you have any questions from what we learned yesterday. Any questions, any concerns? No? Yes.
I was wondering about the limit of 5 servers. I have 6 in total. Well, we have 6 in total. Johnny Beach, well, I don't know if I can tell one server like, oh no, you can't come in here.
said including both of you? Both of you with 6?
Yeah. But she'll have 6.
You'll actually have more soon.
We will be having new servers joining your mass.
So you're gonna have to.
Perhaps your question was about you have 6 servers right now, and you said that you might have a problem with the maximum of 5. Because you will have new servers, then I expect you have 2 groups, and I expect 1 person to be the mass leader. You understand? Let's say Rocio has a group, you have a group, depending on the leadership's decision if you will be a mass leader.
I was going to say, how about if also, I don't know if this is allowed or not, if the 2 mass leaders are there and we have so many servers, can one of them just step back and observe and supervise while the other one has to participate because that would be fine.
And supervision happens not in the sacristy. So the issue or the point that Ms. Luz brought up was if you have more than 1 mass leader, maybe as friends, as co-mass leaders, you decide, okay, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna observe while you lead the mass this Sunday. And then another change that I want to start so that we have a culture of becoming better as we go along is that all of you will not leave right away after Mass. You will talk about the Mass, particularly what happened and what should have happened and what didn't happen. Well, that's kind of the same. You're going to say that. And you're going to say, excellent, Ernie. Great job. You're going to affirm one another, and you're also going to help one another be the best. Is that okay? It doesn't have to take 30 minutes. It can be as short as 5 minutes, everyone. I expect also the mass leader to remind the rest of the servers of special announcements, of special information that you need to relay, to spread, to share. All right? I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that a good thing? This is why your parents need to know this so they won't feel like you're wasting your time or you're doing something in the sacristy and we don't know what you're doing or where are you. For instance, sometimes I go to the Mass and some of you have the experience of me, let's go. I need to show you what I saw and I need to correct it. So with them knowing that sometimes or now every weekend you'll have to stay after the Mass, they'll feel safer. You think that that's a good thing? Of course, we need to keep your parents happy. All right? So, as I said, Ms. Luz is going to be talking about certain things and responsibilities as you as mass leaders. And I'm hoping Ms. Luz is going to tackle the issue of, well, we have a bunch of mass leaders. I need you to all come to an agreement that if you feel that this title is something that I don't know, it's like you feel, what is the word, Ms. Luz?
Well,
Like,
it's going to be a problem because there are 2 mass leaders. This is the right place to talk about it and come to a decision whether or not that's a good idea or not. And how you're going to move forward from this point on. Because it's your ministry. It's not my ministry, and he's not going to be with us all the time. So.
okay. Well, okay. Ms. Luz wants me to go first. I think we're gonna start here now. Anyone who comes in late, we'll see.
So on.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody knows who I am, I think. If not, I'm Miss Luz. And I was asked to help Raymond with communication with parents, and now I find myself kind of stepping in because he's exiting out until either father finds a replacement or we don't know what's going to happen. But I wish I knew more about your beautiful ministry as far as, you know, what you guys do, how you serve. I do observe. I love watching you guys during Mass, and I do notice when you do a great job and when you do not such a great job. But as far as giving you instructions on how to do these things, I can't help you. But the area that I can help you in is in dealing with your servers, with your group, when it comes to managing that group, when it comes to dealing with the little problems and the big problems. Because I understand it's difficult doing what you guys are doing and dealing with parents and the kids themselves. So what I want to ask you guys, if anybody wants to volunteer, what's the hardest thing about your jobs right now?
Keeping everybody control.
Control, behavior-wise?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything different?
How about setting some examples?
Yeah, we'll do it in role play, but that's it. So you're having difficulty keeping them under control.
Your back talk.
Back talking. Anything else? That's it. Okay. And so, how do you think this started? When they first started serving, did they know you guys? Most of yours know you, and yours don't know you, but they still back talk. Okay. So the ones that know you, how do you guys greet them? When you first get a new server, how do you greet them?
Say hi to them, I will introduce them to everybody.
Okay.
They'll feel welcome, so then they're nice just because they're new.
Why do you think they're out of control, in your opinion?
Because I guess sometimes I'm a little too nice to them, and they kind of try to take advantage of that.
That's right.
And then when I
You
do
just
get
said
mad at them, they're like, what? Like, when I try to tell them, oh no, you have to see some here, this and that. Like, why are you doing something new?
And that's okay, they can ask that. But we're going to get more into the behavior things. But what I want to review with you guys is first some guidelines. And we're putting together like a handbook. And you guys know what you're doing in the Mass. And you guys are incorporating now new things. That handbook is not to go step by step telling you carry this way. No, it's more like to help you when you have kind of like a doubt about, what to do in a certain situation, and you can't get a hold of anyone. That kind of stuff is there to help you, but it's also there to let the other servers know that you're going to be held to consequences from now on. So the first thing I put is, what is the role of the Mass leader? And the Mass leader is there to provide guidance and assistance as well as on-the-job training. That's a big part of what you guys do when you get those new servers, is you're giving them on-the-job training right there. That's the most important training. That's the one that's going to stick in their heads longer. So whatever you teach right at that moment, that's it. You're going to try to correct that later. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. Just like you're learning new things from Raymond now, certain things change from what I heard yesterday. And so just like you're hearing those new things, you're like, oh, I have to learn something new now. They're going to feel the same way. So you have to take that opportunity when you first get that server to say, I am the Mass leader, and this is the way we do things here. It's okay to say hi, welcome. Try not to be overly friendly, because you want them to have that sense that this is serious. This is not a playground. This is not a place to fool around. And then as you get to know them a little bit better, of course you're going to be friendly, but you can't be overly friendly. You cannot be their friends and their leader at the same time. Okay? So know that that is something that's practiced outside the church. you know, I've worked for many years outside the church. At work, I cannot be overly friendly to my coworkers because then little by little they start taking advantage. And so I have to set my boundaries, and you guys have to do the same thing. So try when you get a new server, of course you're gonna be welcoming. I can say, welcome at Erasmo. What made you want to come to serve in the, you know, in this ministry? And they'll tell you, you know, oh, my mom, you know, whatever, right? And you say, oh, okay, well, this is the way, take that opportunity. This is the way we're going to do things here. And see how it goes from there. You guys think you can handle that? I'm sure you can. And then it says, you are also responsible for the formation of your servers, meaning those misbehaviors, they shouldn't exist. There's no room for that. Not in the church. It shouldn't even happen outside. It's called mutual respect, okay? Because if you want them to respect you, you have to, of course, show respect. But that respect doesn't mean that when they speak to you, you're gonna back up. That's a sign that, you know, you're allowing them to do that to you. When someone speaks to you and speaks back to you, you stand your ground. You stand straight, and you look them in the eye. Whether it's down there, up there, I don't care. You look them in the eye, and you just listen to what they're saying. You say, excuse me, I asked you to do something. I'm asking you nicely. If you don't want to do it, then you're not going to be allowed to serve. And if they make a big ruckus, whatever, you need to know how to handle that too. And we're going to talk about that. But they shouldn't be allowed to do that. And the problem I see here too is that a lot of you serve with family members. You have brothers and sisters in the same group. I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if that's an issue. Or if it's just people you know from school, from the church, your family, friends. You have to, once you're here in the church, they have to understand that you are the leader and they are the servers. And someday they'll get to be a leader too. And they'll carry those values with them. Everything you taught them as a mass leader, they're going to carry on. Because they're going to remember, oh, yeah, this is the way Jocelyn used to do things. Let me try that. You know, let me try this. This might work better for me. But if you allow them to invade that space and to talk to you, talk back to you, or talk down to you, then they're going to keep going with that. Okay? And there's a way to fix that too. Mass leaders are responsible for making sure that you have enough servers for that mass. And if you need additional servers, be prepared to call someone else. Maybe you guys can talk about this, you know, ahead of time instead of calling me, because then I don't know who to call. Like if Erasmo calls me about the 12 o'clock mass, and it's like 5 minutes to 12, who am I going to call if you get there soon? If I could go, I would come, but I'm not going to be of any, you know, used to you. So talk it out amongst each other and see if you have another group that you can contact and say, hey, is there any way you can come and help me? But that has to be prearranged. It cannot be at the last minute, okay? If you know one of your services is going to be out for a week or two, then there's plenty of time for me to find you a replacement, or, you know, anybody else can help you with that. Okay, so you need to be realistic about it too. Mass leader is responsible for overseeing the group and hold them accountable for their behaviors. Okay, their posture, their reverence, and execution of the service at Mass. Meaning, even if you, like Raymond said, get together after the Mass. If you saw that somebody's making mistakes, if it's the same kid all the time or the same young person, then number one, don't talk to them about their mistakes in front of everybody else. You just say, hey, can you stay and talk to me for a second, and then let the others go. Do it in confidentiality. Now, if they come to you and start talking back to you because you made a general comment and said, hey guys, we were a little bit sloppy today, we should have done things a different way, and they get in your face, then that's your permission to say and call each by name. You know what, I noticed you were doing this, and I noticed you did this, and you're not supposed to do it. See, because they came to you and opened that opportunity for you to address all of them in front of everybody else, then it's on them. But you never go to a person and discuss a problem in front of everybody else. You always try to do it in confidentiality. Okay? You guys get me? Does that make sense? Okay. ML must possess knowledge of altar server ministry, such as how you guys process the sacramentals, and used during the Holy Mass. It's so important because the example that I gave at the meeting was, Father Eduardo came to me and he complained that he was waiting for the book and he's just standing up there and he kind of looked to the side, there was no server there. And then he asked a Eucharistic minister to come and help him and she ran off the other direction to go get the server who was outside. That shouldn't even happen. Servers should be there. You guys are such a main part of that celebration that really we failed big time there. And I just looked at him, and he's so tiny. I kind of looked down at him. I said, I'm so sorry, Father. And he goes, we need to fix. And I said, okay, we'll talk about it. ML must know or be familiar with the parts of the Mass and be ready to assist the priest right away if needed. If Father calls you and asks for something from the sacristy, are you going to be able to know where it is and what it is and get him the right? Because if it's Father Holden, I'll tell you, he's not going to be happy. The other priest may let you get away with it once, but you're going to have a hard time. I know because I'm a Eucharistic minister and that's happened to some of us in our group. So we need to familiarize ourselves. It is so important to know those things. And I'm sure Raymond is going to take the time to show you that. Let's see, MLs must be prepared to deal with behavioral and corrective issues. This includes talking to the servers as well as their parents. And I know talking to parents sometimes is a little scary because you never know how they're going to come to you. I mean, I've even had parents come to me screaming at me. And I just say, okay, you don't need to scream. We can take it down a couple of notches. And we can discuss this. And I let them talk. I always let them talk. They can say, talk, how wonderful their children are and how well behaved they usually are. And it's not their fault. It's the leader's fault. It's not a good leader. They're never there. They don't tell them anything. And I'm like, okay. And I said, who made the commitment to serve? Was it you or was it your child? And then I go to the server because they're usually younger. And I said, do you want to serve? And they'll look at me and look at mom or dad, and then they'll look at me again and go like, and I said, that doesn't convince me. There's usually an issue why they're coming to talk to us is because there's a problem. Sometimes they feel that they're not being respected, somebody pushed them, there's always an issue. So I can talk to them, but you guys are the frontline people. You are there. You're the ones that are going to have to talk to them from the beginning. Just because they're an adult doesn't mean that you cannot stand your ground again, but be respectful, always. So I suggest if they come and get in your face about it, just tell them, okay, can you please stop and lower your voice, and I will listen to what you have to say, and then let them talk. Unfortunately, you're going to have to listen to it. Let them talk and kind of take note of what they're saying. And then you can respond by saying, this is why I told so-and-so what I did. This is what he did. This is what she did. If you feel that that is not the correct action, you're more than welcome to call my coordinator, or we can discuss it further. That's it. If they keep yelling at you, don't give in to your bad tempers. Don't give in to don't say yes, okay. All right, no, we'll do it. Okay, no problem. No, they need to know who's in charge, okay? They need to know who's in charge. And if you agree with them too much, then you're going to lose that. And the kids are going to know that they can get away with it every single time. Okay, and I know it's a scary thing again. So if you feel that it's something that you cannot handle, just say, you know what, just please call the coordinator and speak with her about it. And then that's what I'll do. But please call me and let me know what's going on. Because if you give them my number and they call me, I'm going to be like, what is this about? Unless you guys tell me, okay? ML is responsible for responding to any complaints about a server to the priest, ML is responsible for responding to any complaints about a server To the priest or to the minister if needed, yes. If a server, I think what I wanted to say there is, if a server, if an altar server is confronted by a minister or a priest, or they're corrected, right there on the spot, just make sure that, you speak to that server before you let them go home that day, and try to find out what happened. If you're aware of what happened, just say to the priest or the minister, can you please tell me what the complaint is, and I'll handle it with my server. They should come to you. They shouldn't go to the server. Okay. And priests usually they won't complain right there. I mean, they'll say, "Why didn't you give me the right?" That's a comment more than a complaint. But if they say make a comment about their albs not being correct or anything like that, they should be talking to the mass leaders. Ministers, Eucharistic ministers, they shouldn't be addressing any of this with you. They have the bulletin to refer to. The person's that's listed there is me. So you guys shouldn't be getting those complaints. I will probably be getting those complaints. And I know there was an incident in the past where a parent actually did come in and start yelling at the mass leader because something happened with their child. And that person happened to be a Eucharistic minister. So I thought that was very inappropriate. That shouldn't have happened. So because they serve here just like you guys serve here. Do I love my ministry? Do you guys love what you're doing? Every part of it? Except the bad behaviors. Because that's important. It's important that you love what you're doing, otherwise it's not gonna feel right to you. It says mass leaders must be good communicators and be willing to work with all servers and coordinators, and make sure your servers know when they are scheduled to serve. Sometimes you'll get someone in your group that you just don't like. That's okay, we're allowed to feel that way. You'll get a kid that is hard to work with. You'll get a kid that doesn't pay attention. You'll get someone that you just dislike completely. But you know what? We're at church, and what is it that God calls us to do? To serve, and what else? What about our neighbors? Love and accept our neighbors. Yeah. So even though you want to kill them, you still have to love them. So it's hard. It's difficult working with people you don't want to work with, but you know what? If you make it a challenge to yourself, and God will help you, and you will be able to work with this person, and you'll find that you have strength in you that you thought you never had. I work with a lot of difficult kids. Sometimes I just want to run away, and I can't. I don't have an option. And so at the end of it all, before I let them go, before they leave us, I find that I love this kid, and I learned a lot about them. And I was able to help them in some way, and in some ways they helped me. They helped me grow, but it just takes time and patience, And sometimes I communicate that to them. I'll say, Rafael, you know what? I really don't like you, but I love you. So please, try to do what I'm asking you to do. If you talk to them with respect, you can be firm, but you can be gentle at the same time. You can communicate it very clearly, and if they keep talking back, then we need to take action, different action. But try not to say, I'm talking to you, because if you talk to someone in that manner, you're saying, I don't respect you. I need you to listen to me because I'm in charge and you don't matter. That's what you're communicating. But if you say, hey, Erasmo, did you notice what you did wrong? And if you say, no, I didn't notice that, and I say, well, can we come and practice? Can you show me what you did? Take the time to talk to them. Or if you don't have time, just tap them and say, can we talk after Mass? And you may be thinking, oh, Miss Luz is standing there, she's just dreaming. This stuff doesn't happen. But guess what? That's the way it needs to happen. And you shouldn't even be having these issues. And I don't know if the English Masses have the same issues, but we, of course, have issues in some of the Masses. Some English Masses do have that issue. but not, for the most part, all of them are okay. But when you have a lot of servers together, this gives it room for these types of behavior to happen, because there's not enough for the kids to do. There's not enough, for them to do. Even though you have how many servers do you have now at the 12 o'clock?
I have all total? Or
No,
just-
in one group, like one Sunday group.
Oh, 3.
3 right
Not
now?
including the MLs. Yeah.
Okay, so you have 5 from one, and how about your other group?
5 as well. You can count both.
And there was a time where you were all together, right, before we
Yes.
separated them? Can you imagine having that many servers? The mass is big, there's a lot of people, but there's only so much that an altar server can do. And so by separating, the issue with that mass, what we did was we alternated the Sundays. And how is that working?
They kind of miss each other.
That's okay.
I think we need like a little bit more service in 12 o'clock.
Or you'll get them.
Because there's been like occasions where like Rafael says sometimes like I'm alone and I don't get a call.
Okay. Did you say at the 12 o'clock mass?
Yeah.
That you need?
He's my co-owner.
Okay, so you guys don't serve together at the mass, or do you do?
We do. So that's why it's 3 servers per man, so that with both of us there and the other 3, it's 5 total.
So what happens when you're short? They don't call you and say, I'm gonna be out today?
They never call.
That's gotta change. They have to call you. But again, what are you gonna do? And you will get new servers because we have had new servers sign up. We just have to train them. So, the communication is important. They need to know that that is very important and is part of their responsibility to call you. Servers must follow your instructions, and if there are more than one ML for your mass, please communicate amongst yourselves. Before you address the servers, you need to be in tune with what you're doing. Because if Rocio is going to say something and Rafael is not aware of it, how is that going to make him feel? He's going to feel like, what's she doing? She's making changes I didn't know about, and the same, So always talk with each other before you announce and decide who's going to announce, and the other one will kind of like agree. And if you see that one of you is being talked to more than the other one should back you up and say, I'm sorry, what are you doing? Stop them right there in the moment. That is the best time to correct. By the time I get it, it's late. By the time I get it, the kid is like, I don't remember what it did. But you guys are there in the moment. You need to take that opportunity to fix what is wrong, and you're able to do it. Each one of you possesses an inner strength that you just have to work on, and you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be, loudmouth. No, you just have to demand respect because you know more than they do. You have been committing yourself to being a mass leader. And yes, it's a title. You're still an altar server, but you've been there longer and you've been instructed and given permission to carry this task out. They have it. So they have to listen to what you're saying. If they don't like you, if they disagree with you, then that's something that they need to take up the ladder, like they say. They can talk to the lead parent now, which they're going to be there to support you. I don't want to hear about no lead parent being in the sacristy telling you guys what to do, because that's not what they're going to be there for. They're not going to be there to tell you guys what to do. It's to help you out when you need help. Like a parent that comes back there before Mass and wants to talk to you about the problem. I want that parent, the lead parent, to be able to talk to that parent and say, let's discuss this after Mass, or take them outside and they can talk about it while you do your job. That is what the lead parent is going to do also. So do not allow the lead parent to take over your role either. And I'm going to be talking to them about that. Any questions so far? I know I'm talking a lot. Please let me know. ML must possess the commitment. Did I read that one? Yes, ML must possess the commitment to want to serve no matter what the situation or persons they may have to deal with. Again, You're gonna get kids, you're gonna get parents that you just don't like. But we don't have a choice. We have to work with everyone. People come to church for whatever reason they come to church, but they're there because they're seeking God. And we have to be that avenue, that help to get them closer to God. And so they may come in a bad mood. They may not want to, be there. They may be forced to be there. Sometimes when I'm giving communion, some of the people that are receiving, I don't even know if they can receive. But I cannot say, you didn't say the right word, so I'm not going to give you the host. I can't say that. I have to give it to them, because they come to us. The same thing with you guys. Everybody's watching you, watching what you're doing. They get inspired by you. They may get angry with you. It doesn't matter. But you're there to serve and to show them that you are committed to the ministry. And that's what inspires all these people to sign up for the ministry. MLs must have confidence to handle and manage your mass group. If you don't feel that you're confident enough to do it, we need to find out why you feel that way. In order for you to have self-confidence, you need to like yourself. You need to be able to say, I'm a good person and I can do this. And I do have the skills to do this job. And not allow people to talk to you and talk down to you. It doesn't mean that you have to stand them off, and say, come on, let's take it outside or whatever. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if somebody comes and gets in your face, that shouldn't happen, but if they do, just put your hand down. You're not doing this, you want to do this. I say, you know what, stop. I said, and tell them what is going on. What is it that you want to discuss with me? Take it down a notch and then we can talk about it. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I don't think anybody's going to come up to you and try to hit you or anything like that. Has anyone gotten hit here before? Okay, so I don't have to deal with that kind of behavior. Okay. And MLs must be willing to serve at any moment's notice or to assign service to provide coverage and short notice if necessary. So if you guys, one of you calls the other and you need a server, you have to be willing to stop what you're doing, whatever that is, if you can, of course, and call some of your servers to try and come and help. Or you guys should make the effort to try and come and help. Because it is that important that we shouldn't be, shorthanded for any mass. If you're assigned a special mass or like for a confirmation and you find out at the last minute that your parents have a commitment, you guys have to go out of town, you have to call and let us know. We cannot operate that way. We all need to communicate. Okay? Any questions about what we've talked so far? Am I boring you guys? Is this something that you want to talk about? Is it hard to talk about it? Because I haven't heard too many words. Okay. So MLs must make sure that all servers show up 15 minutes before Mass. That includes you guys. They are properly dressed to serve, and this is a big problem. The dress code. What is the dress code?
White shirt, black jeans, black dress shoes.
And we try to stay away from jeans, but that depends on how people, what people can have in their wardrobe. But yes. So if you know that that's the dress code, why are we allowing, especially the young women, to serve in things that they really shouldn't serve in? All kinds of colors, spaghetti straps. I can see the bra, and the young men with the logos on the t-shirts that I can see through, dirty collared shirts, and then they're out just, they fit a little big so you can see the dirt. Why are we doing that? That's very disrespectful. So do you have an issue with telling a server that they cannot serve because they're not properly dressed? None of it.
The only time I did accept it was because they had barely moved somewhere to a house that they hadn't come back.
No, we don't allow it. We come with our best for God. We must show our best for God. I understand they just moved and they were, they hadn't finished unpacking, but that is no way to come and serve. If you're not ready to serve, then you shouldn't serve. If you wake up in the morning, you're not feeling well, you shouldn't serve. If you wake up in the morning, you're in the worst mood of your life, you're in a bad way, you're having a bad week, call someone to take your place. When you're here to serve. Am I right? You're here to serve God and serve the people of God. And if we're not at our best, and we understand some people's best may not be white shirt, black pants. But if you need help with getting that white shirt and black pant, and I see that you really want to serve, I will get it for you. I will find someone to get it for you if necessary. Or your servers. There is no excuse. If you show up to work and you're not in uniform, do you think they're gonna let you work? If you don't have your safety gear on, which is not a safety gear, although it is kind of think about it. If you show up to work unprepared, they're gonna send you home without pay. Okay? If you don't have the tools that you need for work, a computer, whatever those tools may be, you're not gonna be allowed to work. They fire you. And guess what? If you're fired for that reason, you don't get unemployment. You don't get any benefits. Think about it. This is like, I see you guys as part of a big marching band. And you guys are kind of like, I don't know the parts of a band, but I see the chorus as the wind section, because they make music, that way. But I see you guys as the drum line. You keep the beat of the mass. You keep it going. You make a mistake, it's gonna show. It's big. You keep the pace. If that drum line, when it marches, if it doesn't march together, it doesn't look good. It doesn't work. So you guys have to be prepared. You guys have to look good up there. And like Father said, what did Father say last night when he was talking to you guys? One of the words he said that he wanted everyone uniformly. That means everyone has to look the same. Black, white, and you're white out. If you cannot serve because all you have is pink shoes or green shoes, then we need to do something to help you. But you shouldn't allow that person to serve. Because what you're saying is, okay, you don't need to care about the way you look. You can just come and I'll let you serve. You let them get away with it once, they're going to want to do it over and over again. Okay, if they truly want to serve here at church, then they have to abide by what we're asking them to do. Not to say it in a cruel way. We're not being cruel. We're just telling them, this is something that you need to respect. Father doesn't have a choice. He has to wear his, his vestment. And the deacon and, Eucharistic ministers, we have a dress code and we have to wear our crosses and things like that. I was asked to serve not too long ago because we were really, really short and I had denim capris on. And I said, no, guys, I cannot serve. And Father looked at me, he goes, okay, put her in the back corner over there. And he did. He stuck me in the very back corner with the cup. And I felt like, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But it was a First Communion Mass, and they were short of servers. So they put me all the way in the back. And I was okay with that because they needed the help. But I didn't feel right about serving. Then the following day was Sunday, and I showed up, in my black slacks and a little bit better dress. And he goes, you look very nice today, Miss Luz. And I'm like, yes, thank you, Father. But I did it because I wanted to help him the day before. But I wasn't willing to serve that way. They must be properly groomed and clean. I've seen servers that have like dirt. Not a lot of dirt, but I'm close enough that I can see it. Their hair is not combed. We're the face of this church. Yes.
So when you say does that mean you allow those wearing headbands and little ones or like militaries that
No, that's not allowed. No shine, nothing that calls attention to them. They can wear a headband. It could be black or similar to the color of their hair, but not big flowers or rhinestones. Why is that?
Because it distracts them.
Yes, it does. And it's not about them. It's not their quinceañera or, their wedding or whatever. It's about the mass. Same with the gentlemen. I've seen it with the boys where they wear a lot of hair product and, sometimes it drips on their neck. It looks so yucky. That's not good. Yeah, I actually got a towel for this young man and gave it to him. So, if a server shows up sick, coughing, sneezing, are you going to let them serve? I've seen it. I have seen servers coughing on the side. And Father is like doing his prayer and he's like, he stops and he looks. And he keeps praying, he stops and he looks. And then the kid sneezed and he goes, God bless you. And then he got the message. He got up and he went to the back and stayed back there. That shouldn't happen. If they come in sick, do not let them serve. Not only because they're going to infect the community, but how about you guys? You guys are going to get sick too. Female servers must not be allowed to serve if they're wearing too much makeup or jewelry, or unless they agree to remove them. If they come in with a face full of makeup and they want to go to the bathroom and remove it, why not? That's on them. But most of the time they don't want to do it. But if you allow them to stay because you're short-handed, if you truly, truly can do away with that without them being there, dismiss them, then you're sending the right message. This is not enough. Don't do it. You know about it. They're going to know about it because they're going to be told about it. So it's going to be a consequence. It's not going to be a punishment. They cannot come to you and say, you're punishing my kid or you're punishing me. Why are you being so mean? I'm not being mean. This is your regulation. This is what you agreed to do. This is what you signed up to do. And so you're giving them a consequence. It's not going to be a punishment. When you're dealing with misbehavior, make sure that you address everything in confidence, the issue, with the server and their parent. The first time you don't have to talk to the parent, yes.
You said the date they signed it updated now?
We're going to update it. Yeah, because next week we're going to have the reform training. Yeah, and they're going to have the handbook. And in there specifically states all of this that I'm telling you. So they're going to sign a paper saying that they have received the handbook. We don't necessarily have to update all of the contract, but they're going to sign that too. I'm going to make sure that Raven incorporates it. ML must be firm but gentle when talking with servers. Again, you can be authoritative, but you don't have to be rude. Okay? You're not there to be their best friend. You are there to lead them and to teach them. Always observe confidentiality when addressing issues with a server or a parent. Again, you will do your best to address that in confidence. But if they come to you in front of everybody and they want to talk about the issue, let's do it. Let's talk about it in front of everybody. Okay? It is their issue. Let them own up to it. It is not your problem. Don't take it upon yourselves. Who made the mistake? Did you make the mistake? Or did they make the mistake? If Raymond comes up to me and says, Ms. Luz, I need to talk to you about something you're doing and you're not supposed to do. And I said, what are you talking about? I don't make mistakes. I don't do that. And then he says, okay, let's go talk about this in private. And he says, and I say, no, let's talk about it here. Then he has permission to say, you know what, you address, you gave somebody money when you weren't supposed to, or whatever the issue is. You taught something in class that you weren't supposed to teach. And I told you about it before. I warned you about it before. He can say that as loud as he can, no matter who's there. Why? Because I opened up that door. I gave him permission to do that. Now, if he comes up to me, he says, let's talk about something in private, but then he starts talking about it in front of everybody else as we're walking away, then he's infringing on my privacy. Because I didn't give him permission to talk about it until we would be in private. You get what I'm saying? So if these kids that talk back to you, if you tell them, I've asked you nicely to change your behavior, to stop your behavior, but you don't want to, then I'm going to have to talk to my parent. Well, you don't have to talk to my parent. I'm here. You can talk to me. Okay, let me talk to you. we're in church, you don't do this, so I'm gonna write you up for a verbal consequence. And they can like it or not, you don't have to give them any paper, you're gonna give me the paper, you're gonna let me know what's going on. And then I know that they've been warned once, okay? And so that way they know that they're gonna have to answer to someone else if they don't listen to you, okay? Do not allow a server to disrespect you and talk back to you, whether it's in private or in front of group. And I got ahead of myself, I'm sorry. I was gonna give you guys handouts, but I want you guys, those of you that have had an issue with misbehavior, let's do a role play. I want to know what is it that you're dealing with, exactly. So come on, come on, come on, come on. I know Valerie, you have had some, and I know Rafael has had some, and you guys have had, boy, have you guys. Come on, that's what I'm here for, so I can help you.
Well, there's always those little kids that
Now
are
it's here.
Well, come on, come up here and talk to me like you're that little kid. No, but actually, I need somebody to role play because I'm gonna be telling you what's right and wrong. So you're the mass leader. I need a kid.
It's okay, I'll be the kid.
Okay.
Over there in the front.
Yeah. You're not gonna be on camera.
Oh my God, is it starting? Wait a minute.
No, they're
Ready?
talking about it. No, they're talking about it.
Oh, I thought they were starting.
And I want you guys to
Rami, what is my keys?
And I want another set of you to do the same thing, please, so we could have different ones.
Do we wait until they come out?
You better get the other ones ready too.
Yeah, we'll wait till they come out.
Okay, so you're ready?
Yeah, because you're gonna do one and I'm
Glad you lost yours. I think Rosado was looking for skills.
Sana? Am I taking too long? It's okay. You're almost done. You're almost done.
So you guys
You know what, Raymond? I forgot to get this. Terrible that way. I'm so sorry.
With all of them, they know they're interested.
No, that's good.
That's what I want.
To be accountable for not.
And especially since Usher is, I would choose but, you know, since you're not the person they need to answer the road, but then, and if others say they're not there, or like one case, at most they're there.
Any children, because you guys are telling me
Sign in, everybody. If you haven't.
So then if we assign it was, and then they show up, and then what? Even though the person was scroll, maybe.
Yeah, when there's good children, and when it's done, and then we have more circles, less people,
How do you want to write this? One of the boys. So,
you don't get to show this,
I'm gonna be like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I just realized I have 4 body TV units.
Okay, already know.
Yes. We have two situations, the lights and the
They've always been crazy.
Okay, we're ready.
Everybody, let's get back together. Okay, so who's next after Jocelyn and Valerie?
Wait, well, they have two situations that they're gonna present quickly.
All right, so
And we're gonna let them know what can we do to correct it as a group. I'm not gonna chime in right away, but, okay, let's go.
lights.
Oh, this has happened to Valerie before. I'm the server, she's the ML.
Okay,
No.
Okay.
don't use real names, please.
Oh, wait, you can't use names?
No.
You
No
can use
real
my name.
names.
You can use
Yeah,
my name,
use
but not
Jocelyn.
the server's name.
Excuse me, Jocelyn, you're not supposed to be wearing your light up Skechers to mass.
And then she still dressed up in her owl, and she came back to serve, and she was still dressed.
Okay, so what happened there? There was a total disrespect right there. I mean, number one, the server didn't even say and acknowledge, or even say, oh, I'm so sorry, I will try to wear different shoes next time. Not even that. She turned around and walked away. What would you do as an ML? Instead of doing what she did, which was just stand there and go,
No, I didn't do that.
oh, no, you went on on her, so then I need you to do what you
Yeah,
did.
you're supposed to continue. This is Hollywood. Okay, I'm down, let's go.
Alright, we'll start first.
What did you do?
Wait, you guys wanna know?
Is that the way?
Yeah.
And then Jocelyn, you're not supposed to wear your light up Skechers. No, I'm thinking you went, hey, you're not supposed to be wearing those things, right?
No, I told her nicely. And then, I went up to her again, and I told her, Destiny, you really can't serve like that. And then, sorry, and then, like, she kept on going, like, she kept serving, and I was just like, excuse me, I'm gonna have to go talk to your mom. And then she was like, go ahead. No, I don't want to.
So that made you feel how?
And it got me a little mad.
Got you a lot mad.
It got me a lot mad. Like, I wish she was older so I could talk to her.
So you could lock her one. Come
Yeah.
on, let's talk about it the way it is. You guys, and that's what I'm talking about, having control of your emotions. Because it's true, she's being disrespected. Not only once, but twice.
Because she was like, light up Skechers. Light up Skechers.
Light up Skechers.
Yes. Light up Skechers.
Like the ones where you step
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everyone steps
definitely.
like, oh my, yeah, you know the one where you step and like it makes a little blink. Yeah. Some unintentionally brings.
And she came with Heelys once. Raymond.
Okay,
Raymond.
continue.
Okay, so what happened here? What could she have done different?
She could have been more assertive.
Like how? She said, she was.
I asked nicely.
Yeah, you asked nicely, and then if she doesn't respond, because I know the server, and I've actually dealt with a situation similar to that. And fortunately for me, she's like, if you say, oh, I'm gonna tell your parents, like, oh, it's whatever. But I also know her older sister, which is the same age as me, and so I say, oh, what about Brenda? Like, oh, no.
You shouldn't even have to go there, guys.
I know.
What else can you do?
You could have told her, well, you're not able to serve. You need to go sit down. And if she would have made a bigger scene, then you could have been like, well, I'm sorry, but you're not dressed appropriately. It sucks saying that to servers. I feel bad saying that to servers,
It is.
but I mean, you kind of have to.
And what do you think created this atmosphere for that server to treat her the way she did? Perhaps she was very friendly at the beginning.
So some of the servers get comfortable with you guys.
And she has a sweet disposition. I know she has a temper too, but she has a sweet disposition. And so when, hey, how you doing, and all this stuff, that's why you have to carry yourselves with a little bit more authority, because then even those co-servers that you've been serving with a long time, they disrespect you. And if the older ones, let's say your buddy, even though they're from another mass, if you guys are fooling around outside of the church and you're like, kidding around. Those kids think they can, I'm a server too. I'm gonna be their best bud and all this other stuff. And you guys are extra friendly. You cannot do that. You have to be of the mindset that the minute you step out of your vehicle or the minute you step here, you're gonna be more serious. You don't have to be like, you don't have to be that serious, but you just say good morning, And before mass, you should get them all together and say, okay, today you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that, that, and that. No options whatsoever. I'm gonna step back today, unless, somebody doesn't want to serve, then they can sit out in the community and I will take your place. Always give them an opportunity to serve, so that way it shows them that what they do matters, okay? But the reason that this girl did that to her was because she knew that Valerie only has she will go only so far. And so now what Valerie has to do is change her attitude with them and say, good morning, good afternoon, whatever, good evening, whatever mass you're serving, and say, okay, you're gonna be in this position, that position. Any questions about what you're gonna be doing? And if they say, yeah, I wanna carry the cross, you're carrying the cross, or you have a choice. You can sit down. Or you cannot, you can opt not to serve, and I will find a replacement for you for the next couple of masses.
Would it be like, let them decide by order who will write first? Like, what do you want to do?
No. You're leaving it open. You never leave it open. That is the biggest mistake you can make. And you make sure that if somebody did the cross this week and they did an okay job, then, pass it to someone else that you feel confident that can handle it. Of course, you're not going to give the cross to a little tiny kid that's going to be like, but you guys know them. You know what they're capable of doing. Okay, do not give them too many choices. In this case, Jocelyn, you're wearing your shiny shoes. You're out of uniform. I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to serve. Excuse me, I am speaking to you and I need you to stay here and listen to me. Do you understand me, Jocelyn? What is the uniform code?
Black shoes, one black skirt or black pants, and white shirt.
And are those black? They're not, right? So I'm really sorry.
That's exactly what she would say.
And I'm really sorry, yeah. I'm really sorry, but you're gonna have to sit this one out. And if you show up the same way next Sunday, I'm not gonna allow you to serve.
But remember, not all the kids are gonna act like me. They might act like, oh, what did I do? They might either make a bigger scene or they go get their mom and then their mom.
And that's fine. And okay, I'll be mom.
Mom.
Stand. She's Spanish speaking. Well, my Spanish is awful anyway. Okay. I'm sorry. My daughter just said that she can't serve because she's out of uniform. Can you tell me what this is about? No. Your voice right there.
I get scared with Spanish moms. I hate Spanish moms.
It's just, that's what happened though. I've been in situations.
Yeah, and I know. And they're intimidated.
So, Miss Luz, you're gonna have to be there and
I'm gonna be
turn.
here
Yeah,
and you're
okay.
gonna be the mom.
Yeah.
You're the mom.
Bring the mom.
I'm Valerie.
Wait.
You're gonna be the mom. You're upset because I'm not letting your daughter serve.
Excuse me, I don't see why my daughter cannot serve right now.
I'm sorry, did you not get the contract that says the uniform code is white blouse, black pants, black shoes? Those are not black shoes, those are shiny, they even light up. We cannot have that in the mass because it's a distraction. And I'm sorry that she's not being allowed to serve, but I can let you talk to one of my lead parents, or you may call my coordinator. And I'm gonna have sheets with my number on it so that you can just pull one out and hand it to them. Okay? But you see my tone of voice? I didn't go, no, because what you're doing is you're saying you can come into my space and you can basically tear me apart. No, this is my realm. This is what I do. Okay? I'm in charge of the group.
they always use the excuse, well, my daughter or son comes to serve in the name of God or whatever.
In the name of God, they need to be in uniform. Oh, God, no, I wish I could be there. No. And you say, you know what, and I love that. And I respect that, Mrs. Lopez. I respect that, really, truly. But your son or daughter also needs to learn the reverence of the ministry and how to serve God. You guys need to be prepared to say these words. They need to be respectful. They need to have the reverence to serve. If they do not, we cannot allow them to serve. Okay? Listen to your voices. Okay? I didn't raise my voice, or did I? I didn't raise my voice. I'm sorry. Did you? I'm sorry. Did you not read the contract that you and your daughter signed when she signed up to be an altar server? And we also have a handbook, you know. And if you guys want, I'll have copies of those things in the sacristy where you can give them one, you know. But that's not necessary. I'm sorry. They're not allowed to serve that way. Am I being disrespectful? Was I disrespectful? No. Okay? I said they're not going to be allowed to serve. And if she goes to complain to Father, Father says, let her serve. I'm sorry, Father, but I'm under instructions not to allow this because we're supposed to be practicing what? Uniformity. Okay, that's going to be our motto now. Uniformity. Uniformidad. I'll find out. I don't know.
Ms. Luz, talk about issues going to the priest.
Well, the issues come from the parents. The parents are the ones that go to the priest to complain. If Father comes to you and says, you know, why didn't you allow this little girl to serve? Father, she has shiny light up shoes. We're trying to teach them the proper way to serve at church, and I need you to support me in this, Father. In front of the parent. I don't care if the parent's standing right there. Father Eduardo, you know, I can't say it in Spanish because my Spanish, you know, I think in English. Father Eduardo, I can't, and I know he's a big culprit because he loves his people. Not that the others don't, but he likes to show it. And so, and just say, Father Eduardo, I need you to support me in this because we're trying to instill the holiness and the reverence of the ministry. And how can I do that, Father, if we are going to allow this to happen? And I bet you they'll all walk away. And just say, if you want to discuss this further, you can talk to my coordinator. And what I'm going to ask the lead parents to do is to be there at the beginning of Mass in the sacristy while you guys are getting ready, and at the end. Just to take a look to make sure that there's no issues going on. If you guys need their help, then they can come and help you with those things. That's it. They're not to do anything else. And if for whatever reason you guys are absent, the Mass leaders, and the kids feel nervous because they have to serve by themselves, then one of the parents is going to stay with them and just kind of tell them, okay, you need to take the book up, because they're going to learn just the basics. You know, okay, now you do, you know, you take the bowl and the towel, so that way the kids feel a little bit more supported. But I better not hear that, especially a Mass with 2 Mass leaders, this missing a Mass leader. Because if you guys are going to be absent as Mass leaders, you should let us know way ahead of time if you can. Of course, emergencies do happen. I feel hot.
I feel hot too.
Okay. I was on this emotion. You have the second instrument? Hurry, because we're running out of time.
Well, what happened to me was a couple of masses that happened where after Mass, the kids are okay, but some of them have played with the candles where the candle oil stick flew out, like literally almost hitting a little kid, and then it just broke.
Wow.
I didn't handle it well. I know I didn't because I yelled at the kid. I felt bad, but I was mad because, like, you guys, I know the servers know better than to mess around. I know they do, and that really bugged me, and I know I didn't handle it well,
But did you say anything inappropriate, like a curse word?
No,
or did
I
you
just
just
yelled.
raise your voice?
I raised my voice.
Well, considering what the seriousness of what happened, you didn't do that many things wrong, because you needed to address it right there. You needed to let them know that you were upset about it. And what, of course, maybe you should have done was maybe pull them on the side and say, you know, this is what happens when you start fooling around. You shouldn't even be doing this. We should be walking, you know, the same way that you start at the beginning of the Mass, you should, and even if you go outside, you don't get all relaxed and put the cross over your shoulder and swing stuff around, and no, they need to learn that they need to march. Of course, you're not gonna process in the same reverence. You can talk a little, but still, all together, go back into the sacristy, put things where they belong, and then undress, come out, and then you could be yourself. Okay, but I don't think she did everything wrong by addressing it that way, by raising her voice, you know, because that calls to their attention. Anybody else? Any other situations? Come on.
Which one would you want to do? What? Which situation would you want to do?
Come on, guys.
Oh yeah, everything correct.
Go. Come on, let's go.
Do you need more people? Are you guys okay?
Actually, it'd be nice if I had more volunteers. Like a girl. All right.
Oh, let's see another situation. Okay. You do it.
Sure. Okay. All right.
That's all. We got a lot of. Okay, good.
Okay. All right. So I have 3 in mind.
Okay, so talk about it.
Which one do you want to do? So.
I want to do the most serious one, or the one that you think you need the most help with.
Everybody stand up a little bit.
That one was yeah, no, I got too. Okay. Huh? You want to handle the whole like? Daddy, come to my man. Okay. All right. Come on, you gotta go with one man. So let's say
Go through here.
come on, there's so much, baby. Alright, you remember?
Brownie.
No, candles. You were there, or you weren't?
This is the
Yeah.
seriousness of it. This is the most serious, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
look at that one.
Yeah.
This one, oh, candle. What was a candle?
Oh, what I could just go there?
Okay. So, I mean, maybe later, but yeah, for right now, you guys can go. Okay. So.
Wait a minute, there are some out for water.
Oh, right. Want to turn Ernesto for a while? Get nervous.
Okay, let's start.
Okay, so a little bit of backstory. I'm actually not an ML for a 2 o'clock mass, but I so happen to be with my dad, who's a security guard. So we were just, we're kind of just driving by, just making sure the mass ended. And so two servers and their family comes. So they come to me on the pickup truck, and they're like, hey, Erasmo, we need to talk. And the mom comes. And they tell me there was an incident. And so I was like, oh, okay, what's the incident? And so they told me how what was happening was during the mass, or almost to the end of the mass, someone with a candle hit another server in the back. So, ouch. And it was bad to the point that they were bruised. Like, they showed me, like, oh, okay, where did they hit you? And so they showed me their bruise. And I was like, oh, And I didn't know what to do because it wasn't my mass. Like, they know me, but it's not my mass. And so I was kind of in the moment, and I was like, well, like their mom was near the area, near their car, because they parked near the same area. But so they come up to me, the parent, like, you know what, call your mom over here. And so the mom was like here, telling me their version, but the mom's version of the story. okay? And then I heard their version of the story, and so I was like, is the other kid's family still here? And so they're like, yeah, probably. And so, I get out of the pickup truck, I try to find them without the other family, of course. I go by myself, try to find them, hear the mother's story, then hear the kid's story, and I see that both stories, they were kind of different. They were similar in the manner that, oh yeah, this happened, this was real. But how it happened, how it progressed to that, was sort of kind of different. And so we were trying to find a solution right then and there. And I guess the ML was very incompetent to deal with the situation themselves. So they felt like our ML is not going to be doing much about the situation. So let's go to someone else that might. And so they came to me and they wanted a solution right then and there. And I said, you know what, maybe right there with them, just kind of like find a solution from in there. And next time, one of the families wasn't there, and they kind of told the other family they weren't going to be there, so it was okay. Then another week passed. The other family wasn't there, but they said they already talked to each other and everybody was answering. And then third one time, it was kind of already a month ago, and we had this thing, and they were like, you know what, we need to find a punishment right here and then for these servers. Do you think it's we want the father to be the one there, and so I didn't really know the protocol for something like this. So I said, oh well, let's ask the father. Let's see if he would be available to see if he can be like a diplomat of some sort. They brought the father in, and then the father was, told them that, like, kind of settled the argument, because at this point the parents were starting to yell at each other. And I was kind of like, if this is the father, I was kind of like here, just kind of, just to make sure, everything was just there. And then I'm glad that the parents didn't start like yelling at me, because I'm not even an ML of their mess. But yeah, eventually they kind of came to a concession. The father said, okay, well, Sonny, what will be your punishment for that? Because I guess it all started, or how one of them said it all started when one cursed at another. They started, yeah, and so then they kind of took matters into their own hands and decided that was the appropriate, and so I had to do something, I kind of just really like, I was just in the moment, and I said, well, for right now, like, I made a decision to tell them, for both of you, an entire 2 months of not serving, because this is a mass where they serve every other week. So if I only said a month, then it would just be 2 times, and it wasn't much of a punishment. So I said, or I think I said like 10 times they couldn't serve, or 5. It was between those lines. But the matter was, I gave them a long period of time, and the parents were okay with it. They're like, you know what, that's a pretty good punishment for both of these people, and it went on so. And then after that, I was told that was not the right way of handling the situation, and yeah.
So the thing is that the kid hit the other child with a candle, and that was the worst thing that it could possibly come to. And the way it should be done is that the mass leader should always be paying attention to each individual that they have, or each server that they have. They should always be keeping an eye out for them. Like, if you know, I mean, a leader knows, or like a person knows, like when 2 of your servers don't get along with each other. So, I mean, try not to put them together when you're sitting at the pew or something. Just don't put them next to each other, or just don't have them serve at the same mass if it's to that point. So that would be my opinion.
For your own servers to not feel like they're safe and that something's going to change if they because just imagine like this ML, like, yeah, it wasn't the most experienced guy around. But for an ML or for a server to feel like his ML would not be able to handle the situation, it kind of felt bad, and so
That's why we have these type of trainings that Ms. Lucia said, like the PowerPoint and stuff, so we can know what to do and what to expect of the servers.
Okay. And to give a little bit of background on that, it didn't end there. The
Oh, no,
parents-
it didn't.
It did not end there. The parents, one of the parents came up to the youth minister and complained and wanted to file a formal complaint. So we had to fill out an incident report and we had to talk to both parties involved. We managed to meet with one party and get their version of the story. The other party didn't. It's not that they didn't want to come in, they kept postponing it. And I eventually spoke to them over the phone. And that party felt that they were satisfied with the punishment that was set forth at that time. And we told them, basically they were both at fault. Both kids were at fault. Did one start the argument? Yes. But the other one didn't have to continue it. And like Erasmo said, the mass leaders should have been, on top of things. And the only thing is, if two kids don't like each other in the group, then it is your responsibility to find out why and to get them to work together. And if it is best for the betterment of the whole group, if it is better to reassign one of those servers or both, then do so. Because you have to have harmony in your groups. Your group has to work together. This is not about you guys or the servers. This is about serving at church. That is the reason why they need to respect these things. These things are sacramentals that we use, and they're not to be played with or carried inappropriately. And what is cursing doing in the church? I mean, we come to church to avoid it, right? We all curse. We know that. We say bad words. We're always in a bad mood. We go to confession, but it has no business once you come to church. You need to leave that behind. You need to close that door and open up another door. And then you can close that door, and if you want to go back to the ugliness or happen to find yourself in that, then what do you have to remedy that in the church? What do we have? Confession, yes. And we need to encourage our servers and be an example to our servers that we can go to confession. And when we interviewed one of the parties, that person felt bad because they recognized that their actions, what they did was wrong. The other person, I didn't get to speak to, I spoke to the parent, but I don't know, was it fixed, was it not fixed? That shouldn't happen. And for father to get involved, father's involvement, because priests, they just want everything to work perfect. They're there for the moment. They're there to celebrate the Mass. And so they don't want kids to have problems. So they're going to say, okay, shake hands and promise you're not going to do this, basically. I mean, he didn't say it that way, but basically that's what he did. He put a little bandage on it and was hoping that it would get better. The anger doesn't go away. The hurtful feelings don't go away that easy. And so this one party that was involved was very affected. I could see that that person was very affected by this, in the sense that they were thinking about not even continuing to serve because of how they felt that, they were disrespected. Okay, so as a mass leader, if that was to happen to you again now, what would you do? If you see it happening, what would you do?
I would have talked to both of them right there and then, and I would have figured out to see if I have to separate them, or if they can work, if I can help them work things out with each other.
Let me stop you right there. You guys don't have the time to address that type of issue. Okay, this is very serious. You have time to address little like, I'm not going to do that, and they walk away from you. That you have time to address. Somebody hit somebody, that's harassment. Okay? That's against the law. If one of those parents would have called the police, They wouldn't take the kids to jail, of course not. The police probably would have talked to them and said, you know, you're not allowed, that's assault. With a weapon, that can be a deadly weapon. This is sharp, okay? This is hot. If this comes out, it can hurt someone. If that oil comes out, it can hurt someone. So they could have easily filed a lawsuit. It can be very serious. What I want you to do as MLs is, of course, if you see them, you stop and say, hey, what's going on? Take the stuff away from them and say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to report this. You take down their names, the information, you call me right away. Because I'm going to have to call the parents and the kids to come in. You don't have time for that. Now, you're going to have to be a witness in that meeting. So you want to write down everything that's going on, because when I ask you, I'm going to expect you to tell me what happened and what you did. And if the parents start arguing and things start getting out of hand, call. If that lead parent is not there, you call. And I will try to be here as soon as I can. But you guys, that's way up there for you to handle, okay? The other thing is some kids complained to me, another incident, some kids, I had a meeting with a bunch of kids from a mass, and some of the younger ones complained about being harassed, being bullied. Those are the words they use. Well, they're calling me names. They push me around. There's no room for that. That is, again, harassment. You're bullying. You don't allow that, ever. You cannot. And then if the mass leader also gets confronted by, you know, one of the servers because they're being disrespectful, don't allow that. Don't allow anyone to step in your personal space. You know, they don't have any right to do that. The same way that you don't have any right to disrespect them in that way. You're not going to talk to someone like this, or you're not going to touch them. Okay, you don't touch. You just talk to them. Okay, if they don't listen, you can tap and say, I am speaking to you. Can you please look me in the eye when I am speaking to you? See, I'm not raising my voice. I'm respectfully asking, please look me in the eye because I need to know that you're paying attention to me. You will not be able to serve today because you're out of uniform. You will not be able to serve today or next week or 2 weeks because of your behavior today. And I'm going to have to report this. Plain and simple. Move it on. Give it to someone else. That someone else will be me. Okay? So you shouldn't, I shouldn't hear about these incidents because I know you guys are going to take this stance, okay? Someone else mentioned that some of the servers in their mass, sometimes they just don't show up. That's unfair. You know, if you're expecting 4 servers and you have it all worked out as an ML, you have it all worked up in your mind, okay, so-and-so is going to be in this position, and they're not even giving you the courtesy of calling or texting and saying, hey, I'm not going to show up to serve, then, you know, we need to do something about that. They need to be talked to and asked to please call, text, write, whatever you need to do. Send up smoke signals. I don't care. Somehow you need to communicate. The same way that I'm going to ask you guys when I text you, when I call you, please call me back. Please text me. Even if you're not able, if I ask you to serve and you're not able to serve, just say, I'm sorry, Ms. Luz, I'm not able to help you that day. That's all I need to know so that I can move on to someone else or something else. Because I have to answer as, you know, kind of looking after you guys, I have to answer to the worship commission. Not just one person, but all of them. I have to answer to Father, okay? And I mean, Raymond, he's been training you and everything, and he's been in charge of you, and he works here. I'm a volunteer just like you are. I have a full-time job. So know that I'm not giving you extra things to do to make it harder for you. I want us all to work together, okay? So when I ask you if you are available to serve at a confirmation, or I may ask Jocelyn to call certain servers to please come and help us with this mass. If you truly, number one, you should be checking with mom and dad to see if you're going to be available, if you're dependent on them for transportation. Number two, do you really want to do it?
And if you don't know how to do it, but you really want to do it, you need to let us know ahead of time so that we can get you up to date with everything, you know, up to speed. And number 3, show up. Show up and serve, and do it with a good attitude. But these little misbehavior things that are going on, unfortunately, you guys allowed them from the get-go because you were too friendly with them. You're giving them too many choices. You shouldn't be saying, well, what position would you like to be today? No. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing that, that. But I don't want to do it. You can go sit over there and I'll take your place. What are they gonna do? They're gonna stomp? They're gonna cry? Okay, go do it in the bathroom, go wherever you wanna go. Parents come, I'm sorry, they were given an assignment. If they don't wanna follow it, then they need to sit down. That's all gonna be in writing for them. They're gonna sign and agree to it. So you shouldn't have an issue with it. If you have servers that are older than you, that are serving for you and you feel disrespected, you need to address that right away. If you feel that they're not respecting you, you need to talk to me right away so that we can address it. You've been chosen as a lead server, and some of you are not lead servers that are here, but you're gonna work your way up into that. And now you're well informed, right? You know what's going on. This is what we're gonna be telling the other servers. Someday, you guys are gonna be gone. Somebody's gotta take your place. So, you know, they all need to be trained. Okay, but it's so important that you follow the regulations, that you follow the lead of your leader, because there can only be one leader, or 2 in some cases, but they need to communicate. Okay, but they need to learn, this is the first thing they need to learn, is how to follow. Okay, you guys think you can do that? And you're gonna let me know when something goes wrong, right? Now wait till it escalates. Okay. Well, I think we have only one more thing, which is the consequences. And oh, we're doing good on time. I'm sorry, Raymond, I took up all your time.
It's coming on there. Your handout is going to be the slide number
7, I think.
7, the last slide.
What did you
Is
tell
there
me?
someone else there? I think it's your brother.
What did you tell me about the kids in the mass that they were complaining about? The little ones?
What about?
That they don't want, that they miss the other ones?
Yeah,
They
I
miss
mean,
the other servers?
yeah, well, okay, the situation that happened there was that another server kind of didn't go through the ladder. Like, I wasn't there because I had to go for the dumbest hall thing over there. And so what happened was one of the other servers, technically an ML, but not ML for the 12 o'clock match. So yeah, and they overstepped their authority, and instead of going to me, they went to you and they went to Raymond. And it's just escalated more and more because they started to say things that might have been exaggerated. Like, it happens, but you know, it just went overboard, and I had
Is
to,
that the one that I already addressed, or I haven't addressed this?
no, this was more recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't I know about it? Because you're trying to handle it yourself.
No, you.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna mention which ML is the one that called you, Raymond, but yeah, we've already talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the situation with you know, servers that want to come in, want to serve when they want to, you know, we cannot give them that privilege. Okay. Servers should serve when they're asked to serve. Servers should be willing and flexible enough to change whatever it is that they're being asked to do. No questions asked. If you're talking back, You're not being an effective leader. So we need to talk about those things. If you feel like you need more help in that area, let me know. I don't need to be there. I'll just kind of tell you, you know, bounce things off of me. And not that I know everything, I don't know everything, but I've been in situations similar to that. I've had training on how to deal with those things, and if need be, we will dismiss those people because there's no room for that. If you ask someone to do, and someone coming in and overstepping their authority, no, we cannot allow that to happen.
And so afterwards, I talked to her, the mass leader, and I told them, hey, this is not how it's supposed to be. If anything, you go to me, and then I'll go to the appropriate people that handle the situation, you know, that may be above me, and then it'll just be from there. But
how did she react to that?
Well,
was she disrespectful? Was she okay with it at the time?
The mass leader or the?
Yeah, the mass leader.
The mass leader, he or she understood that there was a point to be made there that yeah, like they were in the wrong and they should have just gone to me. Yeah, I mean they've already forgiven me. I've already forgiven them. It's not really.
And that's the thing when you have two people that are in charge and you don't know what the other is doing, you're losing the group right there because why should they pay attention to either one of you if you guys don't even have it together? You know?
This is not me and Ernesto,
right?
But this is someone that's not of my mass usually. Like this is
someone that came in that.
Yeah, and I guess because anyone that comes to my mass as an ML will tell you that they aren't the easiest people to, you know, kind of say, hey, you know, do this right now. Like you have to be a little bit more slower, a little bit more understanding, but you have to get the point across. Like if they just plainly don't understand like what they're supposed to do, then you say, hey, you know what? You're here to serve, or you're here to go to mass.
There's a choice.
Over there.
Exactly. There's a choice. You either serve under the conditions I have given you, or you may sit at mass and enjoy the mass with the community. And then we could talk about it after. You need to really put your foot down on that. And I know it's hard, because some of them are your friends. Some of them are people that you know. Some of them are people that don't like you and you don't like them. It doesn't matter. You're not there. It's not about you. It's not about them. It's about the mass. Okay? So in closing, and the last thing is the servers are going to be given 3 consequences. Remember the difference between consequence and punishment. If they say, why are you being mean to me? Why are you punishing me? I'm not punishing you. You knew about this already. You were told about this already. So it's a consequence. A consequence is something, an action that happens because of an action you have taken. So, you know, Jocelyn, you're not allowed to take the car after 8 o'clock at night. Jocelyn took the car, she went partying with her friends, then come back to 11 o'clock at night. Jocelyn, your consequence is that you will not have the car for 3 months. That's a consequence because mom and dad talked to you before about it. See, so you're ready, you know, you advise them, you tell them these are the consequences. So the first one is going to be a verbal warning and corrective instruction by the mass leader. Whether that goes well or not, I want you to use this form, and it's in your packet to fill out. It's a real simple form. You can leave it at the sacristy on the top, and then text me or call me and say, I have a report for you, so that I know to come and pick it up. Or you can, well, I would say you can put it here, but this is private information. So please fold it and let me know right away so I can come and pick it up. I'll even put some envelopes there so that you can seal it in an envelope, because I don't want everybody else reading anybody else's business. Number 2, ML will speak to the server's parent or guardian about the situation. Unless that parent comes the first time, if you've already covered 1 and 2 the first time, then they need to know that the next time they're going to have to meet with me and with you, and the parent is going to have to be there. That's number 3. ML coordinator will address the server and the parent outside of mass time to discuss the misbehavior or incident. Mass leaders must keep coordinator up to date during the whole process from 1 through 3. Don't let me know about the incident, when it's at number 3. Because then I won't, if I get phone calls from the parents, I'm not gonna know. I can't back you up. I cannot back you up unless I know what's going on. Okay? So let me know what's going on. An incident report must be completed and left for the coordinator whenever you have contact or discuss anything with these people. Anything. I don't care if they call you boo, you say, she call me boo. And just put it right there.
Ooh.
Okay? Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, now you can use this form also if you're having issues that you didn't want to talk about now. You can use a form, fill it out, and leave it for me, and then I'll make sure I come and see you and talk to you about it. Or you can see Raymond too while he's here. Okay? Any questions
These eyes.
before I shut up?
Let's give Miss Luz a round.
No.
She doesn't want to take it back. But thank you, Miss Luz. I hope that after you've heard her, you've gathered enough courage and are equipped enough to handle what needs to be handled, right? Some of you might say, like, oh, can we talk to parents like that? Sometimes it's a cultural thing, right? We have to respect them, even if they're wrong. If the church gets sued because of the decisions you made or didn't make, ladies and gentlemen, you would have probably been what Miss Luz demonstrated in the first place. I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is the contract you signed with your child. And therefore, she cannot serve in respect to the Holy Mass and the people of God.
And remember what I said, if the priest comes, he says, well, come on, then, sir, sorry, Father, I'm under instruction not to let them serve because they signed this contract. I need you to support me. That's the key sentence. I need you to support me. You're not being disrespectful to the parent, you're not being disrespectful to the priest. I need your support, Father. And what is he gonna do? He's gonna say, you know what? You're gonna have to respect this because it was put into place. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Be not afraid. You guys don't be afraid, really. Okay? We give you now the power and the authority to exercise what you need. Oh, Miss Luz didn't say that. She said.
Always with humility, though, remember.
So again, we need to pray for Miss Luz. And I don't want to hear from now on, Miss Luz is going to take care of it. MLs will take care of it.
I'll give it right back to you if I
Exactly.
if I need to.
We're going to help you learn to grow this way, learn a skill. So, I know it's almost 7:30. I promised your parents that you're supposed to get out. But I need to get over and done with uniformity. Boys, get the candles. Let's see and demonstrate.
You want us to put up the chair so you can...
We're gonna probably, no, that's fine. Just stay where you are. Candles. One here, one over there. Face them. Now, closer together because we don't have a lot of space. Now, because some of you will be helping me next week I can't see every detail. So what group I assign you, you make sure that you look for these things that we need to look for. Now, are these guys probably about the same height?
Yeah.
That's number one to look for. Jacob, come over here. Now, sometimes there is no choice but to have like someone like Jacob in the middle. Someone like this, you know, give him the candle. So, what happens? You're gonna have to make some adjustments, right? Now, give it back. What would be perfect here? What should he carry? Exactly. See, right there. Now, okay, I'm gonna remove you for a while, Jacob. Go closer together again. What else do you want to make sure? Now, pretend Brownie has a lot of hair, you know. Make sure you keep keep your head straight up. Look straight, back straight, please. But keep the candle away from you. Now do the same.
You guys are gonna be training, no giggling.
Now, you know, I always take a risk by touching. You know, please ask permission first. Can I just move your head a little bit, please? That, okay, feel it, memorize it, that's straight. Your head is straight now, okay? Now, shoulders square, meaning straight back, chest out, and candle to the side. Now, use your eyes, see if your candle's about the same height, okay? Look straight ahead, look straight ahead. Now, look straight ahead. Now adjust without looking here. Down. This is very good, huh? Now, you will now pretend you're going to the altar at offertory. When you get to the point where you have to split, how will you split? Take one step and then split. Let's do that again. Guys, what do you see wrong? What happened? He doesn't understand, right? So, again, you're at the point where you split. Now, agree what foot you're going to be on. Let's use your left foot, okay? Ready? And take one step and split. You see how wonderful? Now, you're going, the gifts have been presented. Gifts the gift bearers have already exited. What goes on next? Approach the altar. When you head bow, after you head bow, what do? Straight, brother. Head bow. Turn. Pause for him to move his candle to the correct position and go. Excellent. Now, I have seen this. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what we used to do. When our candles had longer sticks, we would used to feel like we were military knights at the altar, you know, like this. But the problem is we would try to like hit each other when we didn't want to hit each other, yes? So you must, oh I know, like I'm doing my job, boom, 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 boom. You know, they felt the heaviness of their sin, boom. So make sure when you instruct them, you keep the elbow as close to your body, yes? And this is the problem I see. Sometimes the candle is like this, or like this. Or like, what's the problem? It's not straight up. It's nice to have a mirror when you practice these kinds of things, correct? But this is why I need you to say, I see this. Now try to memorize this. Okay? Candle bearers, make sure that, again, you keep what? This is the wick, correct? Right now, they're exactly the right height. After this meeting, visit these candles. And what did I say about matches? Look at this. Who thought that this was a trash can? And after, I'm not saying it's the Spanish Mass only, but when I have to clean the sacristy, I am so mad that someone would have to complain to me, could you please tell your servers to put these matches, used matches, in the trash can? Again, like what I said yesterday, this doesn't belong here or back to the matchbox. Okay, let's give it up for Brownie and Edwin. Jacob and Ernie. We're gonna agree, and then I'm gonna have Valerie and Jocelyn for water and wine. Bells. Now, bells, everyone. If you want to cover your ears, fine, but I need you to understand. I want you to notice, be in the middle. Out of all the masses I have observed, I like the way he does it, but you don't have to do the same thing, but this is what I feel is the model I want to share with the new servers. So don't be ashamed. You don't have to kneel right now, but if you want to kneel to make it feel better, then kneel. But they need to see how they need to see your arm.
They need to get up and come and look, because
Yeah, okay, so why don't you kneel?
Come and look, come and look.
Kneel, both of you kneel. Okay, now, we will do one bell first. We need to come up with a name for this bell.
I actually thought about this one night ago, and I decided
Give it to me now, I don't need to
mono bell. We call that one the quad bell, and the big one we just call it the big bell.
This is a Sanctus bell,
Alright.
and that's what the church has
Alright.
given to us.
So we'll call this the mono bell,
This,
or we'll call this the small bell, but then we get confused with the Santos bell.
Small bell.
I was gonna call it ice cream bell, but that's
Yeah. How about?
Sanctus bell.
No.
Let's do him first. Okay? Now, before he does it, right? I need to show you a slide.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, who are these people? This means, I hope you know who the pastor is, and if you don't, you better know his name. Father Hoven, or Father Jojo, Father Arlen, and Padre Eduardo.
We don't know.
We probably, this is why I'm showing you their pictures. Each one of them has a particular way and style, and that means, as MLs, you are required to know. Because as I said before, Father Eduardo doesn't say just the Spanish masses, now they rotate. Let's do Father Hoven style first. We gotta get that down. Okay, Jacob, could you please, now, if it's Father Hoven, how is the bells, the speed, and the sound have to be? Now, I'm gonna have you tell them what you're doing, because I want you to be trained to teach others. Okay, just like Don't say, look at how I do it. Okay, so look at what he's doing with the bell and the bell inside the bell or whatever it's called.
Well, of course, you would be doing this already, but then once it starts, I grab the thing
Higher, can you see it higher?
before, like, to not make it noise like that. I just grab it and I just put it over and like slightly put it on. Then I start by putting my hand on my heart. Then once I see him start or bring it up, then with Father Hoven, he's very slow. So you really have to like time it, like I count like 4 seconds or 5 seconds. So you just go, then just kind of spin it a little bit. Then just wait. And just count to yourself because Father Hoven is really slow. Just, yeah.
Very important.
Instead of going up and down,
Yeah.
using the circle.
This is the thing. This is why, again, you see the motion, he hits it, and he rotates. Do that again for everyone. You know why he turns it? So it doesn't go like, you know, he's trying to keep it from ringing continuously. Now, this is the Sanctus bells. How do I want them to sound? During elevation, put that in your head. That is the term we use when you say, you know, some people call this bread. No, now it has become the host, the body of Christ. Now, remember that the bells, once, this is called the epiclesis. Once Father puts his hands like this, what happens? Please let the sound die by itself. Now, once Father begins the elevation of the host, you will then start ringing. Let's do it, okay? And Ernie, I've noticed that Ernie does a good job with this. Now, let's do it. Do you notice that he didn't stop ringing his bells until it has landed on the altar table? Now, is this appropriate? What were the bells used back in the day? Back in the day, that probably would have been appropriate because people were sleeping. Everything was in Latin.
Say that to wake people up.
People had to be woken up, or says, stop your novenas, stop your rosaries, because it is time to witness the elevations. You could do it a little louder, Ernie, especially at the Spanish masses, because there's a lot, right? A lot of people drown the sound. But depending, you have to use your, but don't do this. I see some smiles, meaning I hear that. It's not. But what did he do? Beautiful. Father even mentioned that when he came here, he's looking for bells. Now, I added also another thing for the sick, correct? So the bells are this way now, correct? When he takes a sip, oh, it's silent, right? You're getting ready, so you lift it up. He takes a sip, you go like this. That's it. That's why I told you, like, you almost, because we don't normally do it, but he knows that's appropriate. And finally, I'm adding one more thing. You know the Amen? The Great Amen. It's called the Great Amen for a reason. Usually, there are bells for the Great Amen also. Ring it during the Great Amen. Get it? I'm covering all bells now. Possibilities, MLs. When it is Easter time, when it's Easter, when it's big celebrations like solemnities and feasts, when we have a Gloria, what happens? Sometimes during the Glory to God, you should be ringing the bells. But Glory to God is a song that is joyful, correct? So, when you do the Glory to God, you're going da-da-dum-dum-da-dum-dum. And you stop during the verses, and then you go back in the refrain. You see me doing it, right? And at very special occasions, I will sometimes have one server ring the bells at the exit procession. Okay? I need you to understand these possibilities, but we're going to include, number one, the sip, and then Amen. Got it? I hope. What else? What other bell times do you remember?
Well, when it's
Let's do Father, because Father Arlen's very fast. Can you do the Father Arlen style? Father Arlen. Now, Danny, I want you to do Father Eduardo style. Just do it the way you do it. You'll get used to the. But I want you to do what Father Eduardo does. You know how to do this. I'll be Father Eduardo, okay? Okay. So now I'm gonna go like that.
shots fired.
So these guys, they take their time. What Father Hogan's looking for is if you do it 3 times. We ring the bell 3 times in honor of the Blessed Trinity. This is why we do it 3 times. Like you ask me, Raymond, why not 4 or 5? Or like it's still up in the air, can I ring it again? Okay? I need you to understand the bells now because tomorrow we're going to do incense and that's all we're going to talk about, incense. Finally, ladies, now I want you to do the water and the lavabo bowl. Well, that's the technical term. I have seen many, many, many ways. The last time. Okay, everybody notice. Why don't we do it the wrong way first? Good. Now come over. Okay. Remember, Father has said his prayers here, and then once he gets up, he should turn and yes, this is the wrong way because I'm waiting for you. Now, Father, and then what he does is, and then, this is what I want you to avoid. It's not wrong, you could do it, but for the sake of what is the U word? Uniformity, we're going to do it the way now I want to do it, okay? Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, listen to the blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Lord, wash away my iniquities and cleanse me from my sin. Yes, we showed you the wrong way, and that's good. My dear, I show you. My dear, don't leave. I need to help you. Okay. And come closer. And hold it firmly. Firmly. Because this kind of thing tells me I need to put good, firmly. Firmly. You are the towel wrap. And then once you're done, notice how his fingers are. Okay, now, and you then head bow. Now when they turn, what direction? In. And pause, go. Nice, huh? Nice. I expect you to help me this way. So we're going to end the bite. I'm going to ask you, who's going to help me next week? We really do need people. Because I wanted to have groups of 5. But anyway, we'll see what we can do. Any questions? Okay, we're going to end by doing this. As I said, Father is each Mass. As Mass leaders, you guys should know these people, and when you see them around, I expect you to respect them. Say hello. Say, hi, Father. How's it going? Now, summertime is here, and who are these guys? Father Al and Father Joseph. These were my classmates. This was my roommate. This was my classmate. I used to wear the habit too. But you know, they are now priests and they visit. This is why it's essential to know what is the basic. And I don't want you to feel afraid, especially when you're the Mass leader and you see, wait a minute, you don't look like Father Hoban. Get out of here. No, can't. But you got to work with them. What are the places you have to work with them? Especially at the gospel procession, correct? Who's this?
Deacon.
Deacon.
And Mrs.
And Mrs. Deacon. Yes. The bishop is very, very, very serious about the wives of deacons. When she passes away, all the deacons gather for that funeral, including the bishops. And if he passes away before she, of course. When deacon comes, what is his role? You gotta know this. The deacon's role is to read the gospel. So he needs to process with the evangeliary. Evangeliary, the book of Gospels. He also is the minister of the chalice. This is history that you should know. Deacons are given the ministry of the chalice. So who do you give the water to? You give the water to the deacon if there is a deacon. What's the difference? Their stole goes through across their chest and goes down the right. Who are these guys? These guys are the head of the local church. And our local church is called the Diocese of San Bernardino. Bishop Barnes and Bishop Rutilio. He is the ordinary and he is the auxiliary. What does a bishop How different is he?
He brings his own MC's masters.
He brings his own masters of ceremonies.
Who does?
Both of them have masters of ceremonies. When I was a server, I thought I knew everything about serving because I did my research. You see this book? I wrote this in 1996. All of what I knew at that time, I wrote it down. So then, being me, I knew what I had to do. And the bishop, MC, said, "You're doing cross." I wanted to do the incense. I knew how. But I got a taste of humility when he says, "No, you are not." So when these guys come around, know that, one, you have to be an expert because you may be assigned something different than what maybe Miss Luz or the coordinator. So, okay, Edward, you're going to be candle. And then the MC says, you now, the crozier bearer. And you smile at me and says, did you cuss at me? No, crozier. Do you know what the crozier is? Yeah. No, not the hat. The crozier is his staff. You know? And you know this little thing here? The beanie? The beanie is a sign of our heritage, our Jewish heritage, and it's called the zuketo. Z, like zebra. You want queso? But what Brownie was saying, that hat that looks like a pointed little thing there is called the mitre. I'll show you the mitre when I go to the next slide. That is the mitre. Who is this guy? This guy is my idol. The shepherd of the universal church. The church entire. This is the shepherd of the local church. But this is the shepherd of the entire Roman Catholic Church. This is exactly the image I was looking for. What's this? This is a sheep, this is a lamb. And this is the shepherd, and we are his sheep. And he will burden himself to love us, to teach us, to guide us. This is a different crozier. Why? It's because the Pope is the only guy who can hold or carry the crucifix. His life is a life for Christ, and this is no joke. Because how many days and nights I can almost imagine how much this guy cries in intense prayer for all of us and the problems of the world. So let us pray for this guy. But these guys, who do these guys, who do we serve? Do we serve Father Hogan? These guys, do we serve the Pope? In the end, all of us, we serve this guy. We serve who? Jesus the Christ. And where does he dwell? Boom. You serve God's people. You serve Jesus when you serve at the altar. You think Jesus is in heaven? Yes, he is. And he's far away. Every time you hold this thurible, every time you wash the hands of the priest, you serve this community who wants to feel God. Because in order to feel and worship God, we need someone to wash the hands of the priest. We need someone to hold the book of prayers. We need someone to remind me of my baptism by wearing the alb of baptism. My friends, who do we serve? He is our mass leader. And if you are not living a life worthy of Jesus and your faith, please reconsider being a mass leader. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Again, we thank Miss Luz for being with us and guiding us and shepherding us. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. And God loves you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.